A very warm welcome to you, and thank you so much for joining our Homeopathy 24/7 podcast. We are going to be speaking to an array of international guests who will share their knowledge and experiences of homeopathy with you. We will discuss all types of subjects such as remedies, symptoms, and stories of health. No matter where you are with your homeopathic journey, we aim to inspire you on your quest to natural health and living. The podcast is brought to you by Mary Greensmith, the founder of Homeopathy 24/7, which is a global platform connecting you with a homeopath wherever you are in the world, 24 hours a day. So let's get started with today's chat. Please welcome Mary Greensmith.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It's so lovely to see you. And I'm so pleased to be able to welcome Nur Reved. Nice to see you, Nur. How are you doing?
Hello. Thank you. I'm doing very well today.
You're joining us from Germany, is that right? Tell me a little
Yes.
bit about homeopathy in Germany.
Yeah, I'm right now in Germany, Berlin, so the capital. Yeah, homeopathy in Germany. I mean, this is where it came from, right?
Yeah.
Samuel Hahnemann.
Exactly. But we don't see many homeopaths in Germany. Why is that?
I think that actually it is very popular in the older generations. So there are a lot of people who know what homeopathy is. You would see it a lot in the pharmacies. Like it's just obvious that people will buy Arnica. This is nothing new or exciting. There is a decline in the last few years, and that is a bit of a shame, but we're hoping to really get back into it and make people see how beautiful homeopathy can work with oneself. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that the qualifications are much more strict, and you have to go through additional huge amount of training to be able to practice in Germany.
Well, in general, it's not only the homeopathic part, but also just natural medicine in a whole. If you want to practice as a natural practitioner, then you need to go through, it's called the Heilpraktiker process, that it means basically to do exams that are approved by the state. And what's important for them is to see pathology and anatomy. So if you know pathology and anatomy, you are welcome into this community. And basically, it's like a between thing. It's not a doctor, but it's something very similar.
Yeah.
So the standing of it in society is quite high. Like that's the nice thing about it.
Yes.
But as you mentioned, it's a very difficult test, and you do it in German, and yeah.
Yeah. I know it's a very long process. But I'm really excited because we're going to talk about histamine.
Yes.
And of course, there's so much that we need to learn about histamine. So where do we start?
Exactly. Histamine. Wow, it's such a crazy molecule. It's really amazing. I was doing a lot of research for this, also being in the homeopathy allergy group on Facebook. And there's a lot of people suffering with histamine, overreactiveness,
Yeah.
overloads, all the different ways of it being manifesting in the body. But when you go back to what histamine does, it's really amazing. It's really a transmitter of our body to really protect us and help us to be alert and be, you know, immune to the world in a way.
Yeah.
That's where we see it. We see it in the skin. We see it in our gut. Yeah, we see it in our brain.
And
It's
lungs
amazing.
as well. Yeah. Because
The lungs, of course.
yeah. So of course it's a substance within our body, and I think it's in the foods that we eat. And I think,
Absolutely.
tell us a little bit about, because obviously it has that reaction, doesn't it? When we get bitten by an insect, it's the
Yes.
histamine that comes and, well, what is it doing? Is it removing the toxins, or is it starting the blood flow again?
It starts the reaction. So it's
Okay.
basically is like I'm gonna like burst out of the cell and be like, okay, reaction. Let's like move that away from our body so the body can start bringing all the blood flow, and that's where we see all the itchiness and the urticaria, sorry, this is a
Yeah.
bad word.
No. Well,
The
it's good
thrush,
for us because
the thrush,
yeah, yeah,
hives, the very famous hives. Yeah,
exactly.
so it's just an alert, the first alert of the body. It's like an immediate thing. So the body can start all the other more processed and more long-term immune responses. Yeah.
Excellent. So we can see, I mean, obviously, just even hearing that introduction really about what it's doing, we know that our bodies are reacting to so many things
Oh yeah.
these days, aren't there? It could be anything, couldn't it?
Anything. Anything.
And you've also already mentioned that we see it in the gut, and it is in the gut. It's in our foods. It's in our lungs. It's available for that reactive process. So,
Exactly.
are we saying that we are seeing more bodies react inappropriately to things, and that's why it's become a problem? Because normally we need the histamine to react, we need it to do something, but then we need it to calm down and so what is happening when it overreacts?
Right. So that's the big problem. That's the big like question mark also for us homeopaths,
Yeah,
why people overreact. And this can be, well, it depends on how you look at it. Do you look at it from the homeopathic point of view, or are you looking at it from the medical point of view? But to say in a very short way, it really goes down to what happened to you along the way,
okay.
right? So, what kind of exposure did you have? I would definitely say that there's a lot of DNA, so there's a lot of genetic components to do with it, environmental. So, it's a very good question. I would say that there's much more environmental components nowadays than they might have been because of chemicals, because of whatever there is in the air, right?
Yeah,
Also, what kind of food we take to ourselves. So much more processed food. Um, we're much less in nature, at least the people living in the cities. Obviously, there are people in nature, but I think there's like pollution that is being a big factor. And as I mentioned in the beginning, it's really the history of the one person of why are they overreacting, but we'll maybe touch base on that later.
yeah, because it's a really good point to mention, though, that in the environment, in our food, we actually don't know what processes have been used and what is in the air. So quite often we are having reactions and we've got no idea why. We've got no idea what is in the environment. And from what I'm hearing from people, even if they're living in the deep, dark depths of the countryside in the US, they're being sprayed. So they have
Yeah.
to drive along with their windows closed because of the insect repellents,
Pesticides,
pesticides that are
we
being,
know
yeah,
this to be true. I mean,
yeah.
absolutely.
And from what I'm understanding as well, even if you have a diet of fresh fruit and vegetables, if you're buying it from the supermarket, it's likely being sprayed so that it looks green and fresh and beautiful.
And
Um,
obviously manipulated genetically. So there's like many things that we can't even, yeah.
yeah,
Now we try to follow, but it's hard, really hard to follow.
yeah, and it's hard to know what to do, isn't it? It's
Mhm.
hard to
Yeah,
know, well, I've got to eat, I've got to do this. I
absolutely.
can't have processed food, but now if I can't have fresh food either, you know, obviously I advocate everybody growing their own vegetables
Yeah,
as much as they possibly can. But what we're trying to say here is there are a lot of unknowns.
right.
And also, of course, here, I mean, I live on a tiny island and I grow my own vegetables, but I know that their water is treated so harshly. We
Mhm.
have filters on all of the water that come in so that any water that goes on the vegetables, even in the garden, is filtered. But
Wow.
unless you're aware
Hmm.
of 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 your little constraints, because that everywhere's trying to survive as best as it can and keep people healthy, but it means that we are exposed to so much, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
So let's go back to our body reacting. It reacts as it should, and then it doesn't stop. But as a homeopathic remedy,
Mhm.
are we therefore using histamine to balance our histamine, or are we using it to match the symptom that we are expressing?
Yeah. I think this is like the key question
Yeah.
because Histaminum is like this new allergy, all healer kind of, fab, which on the one hand I love because there's so much awareness about this amazing remedy. On the other hand, I think and that's why I want to make the ebook on it, because I really think there's like not enough understanding of when do we use it, why do we use it, where does it come in handy, etc. And I really don't. On the one hand, you want to use things that are all healers. That's what you were asking. So yeah, I think on where I would have a look at this is one, like two ways. The one would be it fits the symptoms,
Yeah.
and the second would be acute flare-ups.
Okay.
So, as you said, regulating the actual organs, because it's
Yeah.
histamine is not an organ, it's a hormone
Yeah.
transmitter thing, not a hormone, sorry, transmitter. And that's when people need to have a look if it matches, even when it's acute flare-ups. You might think of other remedies.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
has a very specific idea of what it is. And you could take it in a very low dose in a flare-up, in acute flare-ups, and I could imagine it to work. I heard very good results about it. But I try to really see a picture of a person
Yeah.
and have at least those three legs of the table. So we say in homeopathy, we would like to have four legs to the table, but even if we find three symptoms, the table won't flip over. So it will hold its stand. So the mental, the physical, three of those symptoms should kind of mimic what that person is feeling right now and really resonate. And then I would think of a histaminum. So yeah, that would be my short answer.
Let's have a look at
Yeah,
some of those symptoms, some of the
yeah,
areas in histaminium. If we go into the
yeah.
materia medica, what are we
Right.
going to see? What are we looking at?
So I'm just gonna have a look in my materia medica here that I
Yeah,
extracted.
yeah,
Um, exactly. Sorry.
that's all right. I've got several books here, and just having a look,
Yes.
because I was, really
Yeah.
surprised. I was reading Fighting Fire with Fire with Tanya,
Yes. So
because
good.
yeah, he talks a lot about the um the remedies that come from different hormones and different things like that, and he's giving a
Yeah.
irritable picture,
Very irritable.
somewhat
Actually,
rebellious.
actually, all the materia medica entries that I've found are talking about a very restless state.
Okay,
Very
okay.
irritable. Very restless, very irritable. No time. Fast paced.
Yeah, yeah, that's really interesting, because when reading through the actual symptoms, and you think, well, usually I'd think of apis in that sense, but that perhaps it's that irritability that is
Yeah.
different. Um, okay, what have you got?
So yeah, it's all about burning sensations
Yeah,
where we immediately can think of a thousand other remedies.
yeah,
So it
yeah,
always needs to be right. Itching, obviously, dryness of mucous membranes. I think this is a very key component. So dryness of areas that should be moist but aren't. Obviously, constriction in the chest and the heart area, the stomach. A lot of burning of head, face, chest, I've said. Um, Interestingly enough, also, so when you pee, not a lot. So when you need to pee, it's not much and
yeah.
it's burning. This is a very interesting
Oh, that is.
symptom.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
And I was surprised at how much the heart came up, actually.
Yes, the heart is a very big thing here, which is interesting. I would not expect.
No, no, because we've actually got quite a lot of different areas around the heart, and we weren't thinking about that. But
Right.
we're starting with the mucous membranes, really,
Yeah.
aren't we? And that
Yeah.
flaring.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this restlessness, it's like this, you need to move. You need to move in order to relieve, to have some kind of relief. And I think this is a very key point as well when we're talking about Histaminum, because I really saw it in several materia medica being it's called a keynote
Okay.
for this remedy.
Yeah, yeah, it would lead us to that remedy. And interesting then that it's coming up with these autoimmune diseases, isn't it?
Yes.
It's coming up with Crohn's disease,
Yeah.
ulcerative colitis,
Yeah.
celiac disease,
Yeah.
gluten intolerance, anything where we know that we are reacting to something.
Exactly. It's an overreactiveness.
Yeah, yeah,
It's all about, so actually, autoimmune diseases are a part of the allergy family, right?
yeah,
It's a syndrome in the allergy family. When we say allergies, everyone's talking about allergy type 1, which is the most known one, which is the histamine reaction.
okay,
But in the family, we have also the contact dermatitis. We also have the autoimmune disorders, and they're all about the body not reacting proportionally
yeah,
to a threat.
yeah.
Whether it's attacking oneself, it's attacking something outside, but in the end, the body is suffering. Yeah,
Which is, of course, what rheumatoid arthritis is, isn't it?
absolutely.
We have that burning in the joints. We have that, so what we're going to do is match that burning, that symptom, with irritability and restlessness. And
Exactly.
okay,
Because when I think also, just as a differential diagnosis, that I immediately, when you were saying rheumatoid arthritis, restlessness, pacing, and relaxing through movement, I also think about Rhus,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
So, as we always said, it's really interesting and important to have a look at the why is the overreactiveness, why is it happening, and then what symptoms are actually there, and what is the difference in the restlessness with Rhus
yeah.
and the restlessness in Histaminum.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know that it would be interesting actually to do a table, wouldn't it? Perhaps you can put that in your ebook for us.
Mhm.
Just with, has Rustox got the intense burning all over?
Exactly.
Has Histaminum got the, better for movement?
Exactly.
So that we can then be differentiating between that, because
Absolutely.
we've got apis and we've got belladonna. So
Absolutely.
we must be putting it in those categories, mustn't we?
I mean, Ton Jensen from Fighting Fire with Fire is talking about Nux vomica. He's talking about Rhus. He's talking about, there are so many options I mean, it's endless, really,
Yeah.
when it's these kind of remedies. So as we always said, I'm going to do a table. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Thank you.
Excellent. So let's have a look then at obviously we're understanding the flares, we're understanding that flare of symptoms, but how are we going to use this remedy with other remedies? Can we use it as a supporting remedy?
Absolutely. So that's where a lot of other homeopaths, it depends on how you work as a homeopath.
Okay.
So the classical way of homeopathy would maybe raise an eyebrow, but I think a lot of us as homeopaths have had the situation already where we wanted to support the person while going through flare-ups, and also the idea of allowing the actual remedy, the constitutional remedy, to go in the body and do its work. And sometimes we might think of it as a detox to kind of to give Histaminum, because there was a lot of antihistamines in the past, although antihistamine is also a thing we can give.
Okay.
But someone who was under a lot of medication for many, many years, or people who were not reacting well to vaccinations, which is always a big question and a debate in the world. We might go in there and see, oh, so we found the really great constitutional remedy, but there is something missing. There is either it's not long lasting as it should, or it's giving some relief, but some areas are not touched.
Yeah.
And we are still feeling that, this is the right remedy. Something is wrong. So then we might go with organ support and see, maybe Histaminum in that case can actually support that person. And then there are a lot of questions about potency and how do you do it? And there are a lot of methods that are talking about it, but that's amazing. Or also, so on the one hand to detox, but on the other hand also to find we say in German Ventil, to a drainage,
Okay.
as a drainage.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to actually allow the body to come down, find a way out
Yeah.
from this histamine overload, and then again be ready to receive that constitutional work, the
Okay.
deep work.
Okay, so what we're saying is it's no good sometimes just, one remedy might be releasing something into the body. We need an organ support to make sure that it's being excreted properly, with that our body can clear the substance. No, I think this might be a good time just to explain the difference perhaps between the conventional method of using an antihistamine. How does that work compared to a homeopathic remedy such as Histaminum? Because it works in completely different ways, doesn't it? And for people who are not so au fait with homeopathy, it might be worth us just doing a few points on that.
Sure. Okay, so basically, as already it says in the word antihistamine, so it works on receivers in the histamine release. So I think it connects to the receiver of the H1, if I'm not mistaken, either H1 or H2 receivers that we have on the histamine cells, and it literally blocks the release of histamine.
Okay.
Right? This is how it's very simplified right now, what I'm saying. In the biochemistry, you would go through a whole thing. But that's basically the idea. It blocks the release of histamine in the body. Now, as we said, histamine has many, many functions in our body. It has functions in the skin. It has functions in the gut, the release of gut acids in our brain. So alertness versus sleepiness. It has in the lungs. And when we do an antihistamine, on the one hand, it will relax that histamine overload or outsourcing of it, which is good because the person can sleep, it's interesting. I didn't actually know about this, that it's that it has a neurotransmitter function in our body. And actually, because of this alertness and sleepness regulation, that's why people, when they take antihistamines, get sleepy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Because the histamine isn't doing the job.
Right.
Interesting.
So that is one of those side effects that people suffer from. They're like, oh, should I take it? I need to drive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm having this. So that would be a minus for the antihistamine, for example.
Exactly.
Or if they have gut acidity difficulties, then obviously if they take a lot of antihistamines, if you take it once in a while, that's a different story. But if you're someone who's suffering on a regular basis, then in my opinion, there is something to look at in a whole way. And that's where we can compare it to Histaminum, which in homeopathy, it works with you. It doesn't work against you. It doesn't heal you. It just goes in you and says, hey, remember,
this is how you're meant to behave.
This is how you're supposed to react. Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. And then your body's like, oh, right, true. Why? And then it just it just works. It works in a completely complementary way. So your body has that strength on the one hand, but also that calm and everything to do it on its own. to regulate itself.
So what we're talking about, instead of going in there and blocking our body's reaction, this is actually something that's having a conversation with our body to say, let's do this a different way and learn a different way again.
Exactly.
So that it's not going to repeat as often, so that
Exactly.
we can train our bodies to react in a different way ongoing. And I think that's the biggest thing, isn't it? Is that with homeopathy, you're not going to be taking it forever.
No. Well, hopefully
Because
not.
it's going to be changing the way that your body reacts long term. Whereas with a medication that's acting just right now, today,
Exactly.
stopping that, but it's not going to change anything in the future. It's very interesting, isn't it, for people
Not only
that are
that,
looking
but
to do this.
not only that, but I would even go out and say that people who start taking antihistamines will see that over time they take more and more and more of those antihistamines. So you really get addicted in a way to that relief because your body doesn't even know how to reteach itself how to
Have to
regulate.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's an interesting way of putting it, really. Then that the normal mainstream medicine is actually doing the job for you. It's stopping it happen, whereas the homeopathy is saying, no, 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 you've got to stop it happening. You've got to make
Right,
a change.
right.
Okay, really interesting.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much for coming in and explaining this. We're all really looking forward to reading your book. And it's just going to be something that helps people understand that there is a choice, that
Exactly.
there is a way to reteach your body how to behave. And that is so exciting, isn't it?
It's so exciting. As someone who's suffering from autoimmune disease myself, and a lot of people coming to homeopathy that way, I think this is the main thing. Hope and remembering there are other ways. There's not only one way. And even in homeopathy, there are many ways. So just keep on it and remember that there is ways to deal with it in a way that your body can actually feel good again. It can feel good again and not your enemy.
That's so fantastic. So I'm
Yeah.
just hoping that we have created curiosity in our listeners to go away and find out more about homeopathy, find out more about this remedy, and
Yeah,
find out how it can really make a difference to your health. Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It's so lovely to have you here. And if you've really enjoyed this conversation, then please click on the links above here because you'll definitely like these other episodes. It's right here on the screen. Just click and I'll meet you there.